This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to your Tuesday edition of the afternoon show here, of course, live on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. I'll be your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and joining me is my co-host today, Jay McLovin. Jay, how you doing, Jay? How was your Monday now leading into this Tuesday?
Yeah, it's good. A couple of good news over the weekend as we did snap that losing streak that we were on, and we beat the Marlins yesterday pretty handily. I think it was like 8-2. So we had a good day yesterday for the Astros. And also, thank goodness, we are going to get a pitcher back tomorrow. Spencer Arrighetti will be coming off the list and will be making his debut back into the league on the Astros rotation tomorrow against the Marlins. So it's good to have another pitcher back. Hope we get Garcia and Javier at some point. And I believe Jake Myers might have another week or so, and then he'll be back in the lineup. So hopefully by the middle to third week of August, Astros should be back with a good roster lineup and try to get back into the groove and get in ready for October playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, we're kind of just going to be just off the cuff today. There's not a ton of major sports news that's happened in the last 24 hours, so we're just kind of going to highlight some of the things that we noticed that kind of stuck out over the last day and so, and just kind of touch on that. But more so, just we're going to have reminders throughout the show today. But also just for everyone out there, tomorrow, new start time here on the show. We normally start right around 2:00 Eastern. We're going to move that back 1 hour, so we're going to be starting at 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the afternoon show, moving forward for the foreseeable future until we change back to that. But just a heads up, tomorrow 3:10 EST p.m. It's going to be the new start time going forward. So we'll send reminders out and everything like that. But just want to let you know for tuning in early here on the show. But of course, if you like the show, you can follow, share, and subscribe. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. Really anywhere else you can find us. You can find the rest of our shows on the network as well, not just the afternoon show, but you can find Whiskey Hour, you can find the Gonzo Sports Room, you can find the Geek Gauntlet podcast, and so many of our other great shows. But best way, instead of me just listing all of them, is for you to go into our link tree in the description of all of our shows, tap on that, scroll down, and just look at all of our social content, see all the great stuff we have here on the channel, and be sure to just give everyone a nice thumbs up, and subscribe as well, so you don't miss a single bit of content. Because Jay, we pump content out like there's no tomorrow. We got shows on top of shows, we got clips on top of clips, and we're just rolling right into the summer, and we're getting closer and closer to fall. It feels like it here today. It's like 67 in Georgia on August 8th, and it feels odd, right? It feels pretty odd because it is August 5th. And it's been raining, tired, dreary, no sun the last few days. So we're just kind of in it right now. But it is what it is, and we just keep pushing forward. Well, Jay, we talked a little bit of baseball. You did it early on, and we're going to keep talking about some baseball, some stuff on the diamond. We wish our boy Frankie the Yankee was here because it's easy to rag on him. And it's one of Jay's favorite topics, and that was one of the first things he brought up today, and that's what we're going to do here. To kick off the show, I feel like it's apropos. And I feel like it might just be clockwork, Jay, that Frankie pops up, once every few months. And he's like, oh, hey, I heard you guys were talking about my team. And we'll see if it does. But the reason, Jay, is because the New York Yankees have now lost 4 games in a row. And last night, Jay, they had it in the bag, right? They had it in the bag, so you thought. They were winning. They were looking solid, right? They heading in, they were up against Texas Rangers first and foremost. That was who their team was, who they were facing. And, going into the 9th inning, you had the lead. You're up. It was up by 1 run, right? It was the score in that one was 5-4. So you just had to get 3 more outs. You would have got it. But Jock Peterson came up, hit a pinch hit home run, I believe. So that tied it. And Jay, then you went the extra innings. And, well, the Yankees did nothing in the top of the 10th. And that was before Jake Bird, who, of course, as we know, they acquired during the trade deadline. He gave up a 3-run shot to Mr. Jung, and that was it. 3-run shot, walk-off. Texas sends the fans home happy. And for New York, they've dropped, as I mentioned before, 4 games in a row now, Jay. And real quick, before we kind of dive into that game and look more at the team itself, they are now, and when you look at the standings here for the MLB in the East, obviously up top, you still have, of course, the Toronto Blue Jays, who have looked really good here as of late. I know in the last couple of 10 they've struggled, but they're still in the top spot. Boston Red Sox have been red hot. They've won 6 games in a row, 8-2 in their last 10, only 3 games behind the Jays. And then New York Yankees, as we mentioned, now 5.5 back of first place, 4 straight losses, 4-6 in their last 10 games. So, Jay, where did it all go wrong with this team really last night, and how do you think that they've really kind of struggled? I mean, at times, of course, during the season, but really it feels more so after the All-Star break that they have just, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. And I will say, it does say here that Aaron Judge, they announced this about an hour ago, he is coming back and he is going to be the DH. So that is definitely going to help their kind of offensive woes. But is that going to be enough, though? Do you think the pitching and everything else in the lineup is going to, kind of shape up, or will it kind of be more of what we've seen?
Yeah, I'm going to continue to go to the Yankees bullpen and rotation as the weakness of this team. Now, yes, they do commit errors. They committed an error last night as well. So they're still continuing to play sloppy, and I think Aaron Boone will tell you that the Yankees are playing super sloppy. They're not playing nowhere near their level of baseball that they have. When you look at the acquisitions of Bird and what was the other one that they picked up? Bird and Bednar, and there was one of the ones I think in there as well, and I can't remember his name. But either way, when you look at Max Fried, which is one of their better starting rotation guys that's left on the roster that's not injured. Fried had a very terrible night. He gave you 5 innings. He gave you 8 hits, or he allowed 8 hits. He had 4 earned runs on 3 walks. So yeah, I do want to say he had 7 strikeouts on 105 pitches. So, but it wasn't his best night. And then you get down and towards the bottom of the rotation, and Williams gives up 1 hit, 1 run. Obviously that sounds like he must have given up a home run or something. And then
he gave up that tying shot in the 9th. That was what it was.
And then you get Bird, and Bird comes in and faces 2 batters. And he gets 1 hit. He allows 3 runs. He must have given up the home run as well. And then they got 3 runs.
He gave up the walk off.
So the point I'm giving at is Bird is one, and Bednar. Now Bednar didn't do bad. He actually got you through an inning, and he didn't give up anything. So that's good for him, because the previous night he crapped the bed, and I know he crapped the bed because he's on my fantasy team, and I had negative a crap ton of points. So Bednar's terrible, and he was a trade acquisition. Bird is terrible for the 2nd time in a row. So that's kind of telling me that these trade acquisitions that the Yankees made aren't necessarily panning out. Now, I know they got McMahon from the Rockies, and he's over there on third base. He's probably holding it down. But McMahon is not a bad player by any means. He's average. He's an average third baseman, and he's doing his job over there. But honestly, it still goes back to sloppy pay with errors, and it goes back to terrible bullpen pitching. And either the Yankees are in a funk right now. And I've said this, and I keep telling Frankie, but he don't like to hear it. But I don't like Boone. I think Boone is horrible. I think it's time for him to go. I don't think he has the pulse of the team. I certainly don't think he's creating a winning culture over there. Or at least, I'm not saying he's not having a winning culture, but a sustainable winning culture, right? They still give up a lot. Right now, they're on the brink, right? They're on the brink of being kicked out of the wild card. Right now, they're tied with Seattle for that 3rd and final spot. So there's a lot there, right? I mean, if they don't get their crap together and get it together soon, then they're going to find themselves out of the wild card and fighting to get back into the wild card before October hits. So I don't know where the problem lies. Does the problem lie with Cashman, who I know for a fact Frankie doesn't like? And I'm not really impressed with Brian Cashman either. Or do you look at Boone not keeping his team disciplined and playing right? Or do you look at positional coaches not doing their job? Or do you just look at the pitching staff and say that the pitchers aren't getting the job done? I mean, any number of ways you look at it, pitching is the anemic side of the Yankees, and Cashman isn't doing his job. I don't think Cashman's doing his job, to keep this team performing at a high level. I think the guys he's bringing in, clearly this year so far, at least up to now, the guys he's brought in this year via the trade deadline haven't exactly performed the way that I think Boone and the Yankees would like for them to perform.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because, I mean, obviously we talked about it during the trade deadline, right? That we were kind of surprised, kind of glad in a way that Cashman went out there. He was aggressive, Jay. Remember, he acquired all those pitchers we mentioned. He got McMahon a little bit before the deadline. And, I mean, if you're contending or in the spot for contending, that's what you want. You want your GM to be aggressive. You want him to spend money. You want him to make trades. And at the time, it was applauded. But, I get been a kind of a small sample size. It hasn't worked out, obviously, for the team. Now, it does help. You're getting Aaron Judge back. I will say Giancarlo Stanton's been a good spot for them. He's been really raking as of late. We know Paul Goldschmidt hit the leadoff home run last night, so that's good that he's still hitting the ball out the park like you want. Like I said, an off night for Max Fried, who's been kind of their ace this year, but it happens from time to time. You're not going to be electric every single night. But that's where you want your bullpen and everyone else to kind of pull some weight, right? You want your bullpen to hold the lead. And Devin Williams, who, remember, Jay, he was the original closer for this team. He got pulled from that role. They brought in Bird. Bird hasn't worked so far. I think he's allowed 6 runs in his short stint here with New York. So obviously that didn't work. Texas has been red hot, Jay. They've won 12 of their last 15 home games. So they're kind of picking up steam at the right time. They're 35-20 overall. And Jay, here's an interesting stat. When you look at the Yankees, they're 60-53 overall. Not bad, right? 7 games above 500. That's feasible. But Jay, look at their road and away, or their road and home record. When you look at their road record, Jay, they're 26-31 on the road. That's hard to win games when you're under 500 on the road. Trust me, I know as an Atlanta fan, we don't win on the road. It's tough, but I mean, just looking up and down kind of this lineup, right? I mean, just some guys who, you're hoping can get things going. We know Jazz Chisholm isn't a heavy hitter, but Jay's only hitting 246. Anthony Volpe, who I think Frankie wants to just throw in a window or something, he's hitting 209. That's rough. I get, apparently he's still got a great glove according to the coach and everything, but you see every other night feels like he's got another error. So, like I said, so it's a bad night for Max Fried. It is what it is. He still overall in the season has had a really good year. I'm not going to fault him for that. Look at the rest of the guys along the way. Weaver did good in relief, 1 inning, no runs allowed. Doval, who they did pick up, he had a good performance at the deadline. He went well. Like I said, pitched an inning, but no runs allowed. Bednar, like I said, Bednar did good last night. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come, but it's a 1 inning. You know what I mean? It's 1 inning. Mm-hmm. You just hope they can build off of that. And then it all just kind of fell apart with Williams and then obviously with Bird, who Bird now his ERA drops to 5.53. I don't know why. I mean, Jay, it kind of felt wrong when they put him in a high leverage situation the other night and he fell off. So you put him back again. And I mean, obviously the Yankees were hoping. I mean, I feel like Jay, what kind of derailed their trade deadline plans, Jay? You know who I think would have really helped out this team that Who's they that? Couldn't get? They probably could have traded for Emmanuel Clase out there in Cleveland. I mean, you get if you could have picked him up if possible, but obviously we know he's not going to play at least for the rest of the season, it looks like. I mean, you hope that Bednar was going to be kind of a feasible replacement. Didn't really work. So New York continues to struggle in that regard. Like I said, they're now 5+ games back. They're in first place. Like I said, they're 34-22 at home and 26-31 on the road. I mean, Boston's not a whole lot better in terms of the home road splits. And that, it is obviously it's tougher to play on the road than it is at home, but you hope you're at least at 500 or hovering around. And New York's 5 games out from that regard. But it's tough right now for the Yankees fans, but for Jay, I know you're happy to see that. You guys picked up a win last night, a good matchup against Miami. He took care of business, and Sandy Alcantara it looks like, I don't know, man. he might have had that one or two really good season run, and that might have been it because he's just looked rough. But I will say, though, Jay, credit to your starting pitching. Guy had your starting pitcher, I think it was Anderson. Alexander, rather, yes.
Yeah.
That was the best start he's had all season. That was the best performance he's had all season. You couldn't ask for much better. It's a guy who, like I said, he went 6 innings, only give up 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk. That's all you could ask for that guy. And your lineup obviously took care of business. It took a little bit of time to get going, but that's what it was. Is Alcantara had you guys the first go around, which that's how it goes sometimes. The first 3 innings, I think, was on both sides. It was you didn't give up any hits, but obviously, as Jay, in the 5th, you guys tacked on 5 runs. You look good there, and he just kind of kept pouring it on a little bit later on, but. Overall, as a team, you did good. Pitching wise, 10 strikeouts, only 2 runs allowed, 7 hits overall compared to Alcantara, who I don't know if their bullpen was taxed or what it was, but they kept him in there for 7 innings. I guess they figured, it's rough right now. Might as well just have him weather the storm. Only had 2 pitchers. He got 100 pitches on the night. And Jay, his ERA is now at 6.44. That's tough. That's rough overall. He continues to struggle on the year, and the bats. Really for Miami couldn't really get anything going. I get 7 hits is impressive, but only getting 2 runs, both those coming a little bit too late. Got him in the 7th inning, and Houston, like I say, pick up a good win against a team who's been red hot. You snap their winning streak, and hopefully you can get it done later on today. And take the second game of that series, and that would be nice there.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I wanted to go back to the Yankees for just a brief moment.
Yep.
I do want to point out that, and I was just looking at this, it's very possible that Frankie and the Yankees could get back-to-back sweeps or be swept.
Back-to-back, yeah. By Miami, and now,
because if you think about it, so they lost, so they got swept by Miami. Their best chance to get a win is with Rodon at the mound and Max Fried at the mound, and obviously Max Fried has already lost. So now that means now you got 2 more games against Texas, and you got to imagine that Texas wins again tomorrow night because they got Evaldi on the mound versus Warren on the mound. And I tell you right now, I am not a big fan of Warren at all. I think the guy is horrible, and I think Texas can exploit that much, much more so than what they did even with Fried. So if they lose that game, now that puts them 2 down. And then in the final game, you got Rodon going against Leiter. Jack Leiter. I think it's Jack Leiter. And it's very possible that Leiter, he's a good enough pitcher, and if he can hold his own, if he holds his own, it's very possible that they could get swept back to back going into, where they're going, to the mouth of Houston, baby.
Mm-hmm. They gotta go through you,
man. And if Houston can handle business and keep the momentum up over this next Marlins series. Then we come out of that, then we have the Yankees, and we will have Arrigati back by then. So our rotation should be pretty good, And so, we could be going to an epic showdown between Houston and the Yankees over the next 4 to 5 days. However, that comes to fruition. So look for a very good series. I think a very competitive series between Houston and the Yankees.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And Jay, I just want to touch on this super quick because I was just kind of scrolling through the box scores of baseball last night. I had to bring this up, Jay. We haven't talked about him in a while, but I feel like we have to get big shout out to the Colorado Rockies. We love talking about them here on the program. Jay, they lost last night to the Blue Jays. Final score in that ball game, 15-1, out there in Colorado. Jay, you want to take a guess how many hits the Blue Jays had on the night as a team?
15 runs. I would probably say 24.
Oh, you're one off. 25 hits as a team.
Wow.
25 hits, Jay. Let me say this. Every starter, everyone 1 through 9 had a hit. The only one who did not was the backup catcher, Heineman, who only got 1 appearance, right? And he struck out. So I guess he was paying for dinner that night. But, Bo Bichette, Jay, 6 runs batted in. He had 3 hits. Varsho, 4 runs batted in. He had 2 hits. Clement had 5 hits. So great work there. And I mean, they just knocked the cover off the ball. There's not, what more can you say? I get it's coolers, man, but my God. 15 runs, 25 hits. And Gordon picked up the loss in that one, Jay. He went 2 2/3, gave up 11 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 strikeout, and under 70 pitches overall for him. So obviously the bullpen didn't really clean it up or anything like that. So that was rough. But yeah, they scored, Jay, a run. They scored their big run. Their big inning was the third, where they scored 7 runs, and then they followed up 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning. So just wanted to applaud the Blue Jays batters for just kind of hitting a beach ball out there in Colorado last night. Because my God, that's you always love that when it's your team, and if you're Colorado, you're praying the season ends anytime now. So that's kind of the last of the baseball news we had there.
One more quick thing.
What you got?
Just one, and I really think this is a great way to end it on the baseball topic of life. It has been widely speculated that Frankie Cruz Jr. calls my division trash, garbage, weak. God, you name it, Frankie will tell you about it.
He said it.
Do you realize that right now, if the Yankees lose to Texas, that means Texas could springboard into a tie. Well, they will springboard into a tie with Seattle for that third and final wild card spot, and that will bounce out the Yankees. So basically, that means that out of their division, Toronto and Boston right now are the only 2 playoff teams. And right now, if it goes the way I think it might go, especially with the way the Mariners have done in free agent or in the trade deadline, that it's very possible that our division could have 3 teams in the playoffs and his division only have 2. So let that marinate, Frankie. And anybody else out there that thinks that the AL West is a joke of a division, you might want to relook at that.
That's a real possibility. It really is. So we'll see how it goes. And baseball still got a lot of time left, but at the moment, not looking good for Frankie and his friend and his team at this time. Well, Jay, we're just kind of open it up here. What all have you seen in the last 24 hours or so that you think is worthy of being talked about here on the show today? Any bullet points you got here that you want to roll with, that you're clamoring to talk about?
Honestly, not really. I think we talked about, in yesterday's episode, the day before that episode, all the big things that's really going on out there. The only thing I can see out there, I guess, that could be interesting to talk about, not that it has a real big factor on anything, but I just think it's interesting, would be Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater went out to coach high school football, and he was, I guess, apparently paying for some things to improve the facility areas, and also giving students Uber rides and things like that. And apparently, I guess, in the world of high school sports, that's a no-no, can't be done. So they had to let him go. And so now he has returned out of retirement back to the NFL, and it appears to be signing, I would imagine, at the vet minimum or league minimum with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Teddy Bridgewater could be making a possible return back if and only if Baker were to get hurt. Then you might see Teddy Bridgewater make a return into actual gameplay.
I'm gonna need like a book or a documentary about Teddy, because man, what a ride he's had, right? I mean, what kind of a story that he's had, really. I mean, more so in the last couple of years, but really, I mean, his entire football career. I mean, he's 32. I mean, he's still young, Jay.
Right.
I mean, he's drafted by, he did really good in Minnesota at Louisville, right? Where he did great in college. He was electric there. He got drafted by Minnesota. It was a first round draft pick. Played there for a couple of years. Been bounced around the league. Played for a lot of teams. Mostly as a backup, but he'd come in. He'd get it done from time to time. Then, like you said, he originally he left, went to go coach. Now he's back. He's done coaching for the time being. Now he's back as he's going to be a second or third string quarterback there in Tampa behind Baker Mayfield, obviously. But I mean, it's just interesting to watch. I mean, he played for He played for Detroit a little bit. He signed a little bit last in 24. I mean, he's just had a hell of a life. And so he got suspended, Jay, in July of this year from his position of head coach at Miami Northwestern High School for providing impermissible benefits to his players, as you mentioned, Uber rides, meals, and recovery services for the team, all being funded by himself. What an awful human, right? Paying out of his own pocket for these players. Yeah, give me a break. That's just how it is. But
I think the issue, from what I understand, is other schools. I think there was another school that found out that he was doing this, and I think that they complained about it. And I think they probably felt like it was a competitive disadvantage to them that he was doing these things. And so I think that's where that's how I think it came to light. But from what I understand, in high school sports, you're not allowed to put money into an organization that you belong to. But so, for example, let's say he had a business partner and said, hey, here's X number of money. I need you to donate that to the school for X, Y, and Z. Probably could have got away with that. That would have been kind of considered like an NIL type situation. But the fact that he used his own money, I think they're saying that gives his school a competitive advantage over other schools. That's unfair. And so I think that's really what kind of got him in hot water.
So someone had a beef with him. You know what I mean? Because why would you wait till the end of the year? If you knew he was doing it early, why wouldn't you call him out middle of the season or whatever? But is what. Obviously, he's back on his feet. So, I mean, hey, he's about to be back in the league soon, at least getting a little bit more money. And it would not surprise me one bit, Jay, if he goes back to coaching the next season or whenever. I don't know if he's if he's barred for X amount of years. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit if that's how that goes. He comes back, he might not even get senior playing time, but he'll just basically stay in shape, get some money. Get whatever money he lost, I guess, paying for all the Uber rides and the money in the meals and the uniforms or whatever. Get all that back, and then he might head out again next season. Who knows? But also, we'll talk a little bit more football here. Tony Gonzalez just brought it up. He's like, "You just read my mind, Jay." How they signed another quarterback, Jay. The Browns. God, they love their quarterbacks, don't they? Tyler Huntley, Jay, you remember him, the one-time Pro Bowler, which that was a sham. We all know that much. I think that was he was like the third, he's the backup to a backup, and he did nice for Baltimore for a couple drives. And sure, you can get a Pro Bowl selection. I remember that a couple of years ago. So now he is their fifth quarterback, Jay, on their roster. The four, as we know, that are active this season, because we know that obviously Deshaun Watson ain't going to be there.
Right.
Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders, and now bringing on Tyler Huntley. Jay, why? I mean, any idea? What's the reason that they signed another quarterback when you have already a veteran in Flacco? You have Pickett, who's been in the league for a handful of years now, and then Gabriel and Sanders, who you just drafted. Why not add one more, right?
If I'm channeling my inner Bo, or if I channel my inner Pags, we all have that in us, I think. I would imagine that they would tell you it's the Browns.
Yeah, it's the Browns.
It's the Browns. I mean, seriously, it's really the Browns. And this is just typical, I think, of their organization and the kinds of things that they do. I mean, look how they dealt and gave the fully guaranteed money to Deshaun, a man that was literally coming out of 20,000 million complaints of sexual misconduct and things like that. And you turn around and give this guy a fully guaranteed contract, expecting him to do great things. And then turn, of course, now he's just riding the pine, collecting your paychecks and chilling like a villain, doing his best life. I mean, these are just the kinds of decisions I think this franchise makes. And it really does blow your mind. I think what it does do for Shedeur, and I've said this earlier, what it does for Shedeur is it clears the way for him to be able to ball out, show what he can really do, claim the status that he thinks that he will, achieve. He has been a good pro. Yeah, he had a couple of speeding tickets. We all know that. But that's, 20, 30 miles an hour. Yes, we don't like to see that, but, at the end of the day, I mean, it's not going to make or break you. I mean, if that's all you're really doing. The fact that he doesn't want his pops there during training camp, even though he's going to be getting more reps now, clearly with Joe Flacco, shows you how I think dedicated he is and how committed he is to being the best that he can possibly be, because I think he knows, like we all know, that if Deion goes there, he's not your typical father. Deion is going to bring a lot of attention with him, and I don't think Shedeur wants that level of attention anywhere around him, because I think it's going to I think he knows it will distract him from doing what he needs to do to build his own legacy. And so I think it's very intellectually positive what he's doing. I think you're seeing a Shedeur that legitimately wants to be the best and can be the best, and this is his opportunity. Now, if I'm Dillon Gabriel, I'm going to try to get. I don't know what his issue is. I didn't read what his injury or what the severity of his injury. But if it's something that can be done relatively quickly and healed from relatively quickly, it's in his best interest to get his butt back on the field, because the last thing you want is Shedeur the opportunity to showcase what he can do and then take your spot, right? Yeah. So it's all about timing in the NFL. And right now, Dillon's on the out, Shedeur's on the in. And if he makes the most out of this, and this is his perfect timing to do so, he's not going to be Tom Brady, but an example would be like he could basically Drew Bledsoe Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, just jump over him in the
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. And so the reason they signed Huntley, Jay, is because, as you mentioned, we talked about his quarterbacks. Pickett and Gabriel, they both have hamstring injuries. And Shedeur has a sore shoulder, so they brought in Huntley. Okay, cool. Which tells me, Jay, they have no earthly idea who the hell is going to be their starter at the start of the season, let alone preseason.
It tells me they're going to be garbage, absolute dog water garbage.
I mean, boy, don't feel bad for the rest of the club, because you hear nothing. You don't hear a peep about Myles Garrett or anything. I haven't heard anything about Myles Garrett or the receiving core. It's all about, hey, look at these 5 quarterbacks they have showing up here in the car. I mean, that's all you've heard since the draft. You haven't heard a peep of anyone else, not that I've seen, at least.
That's because Myles Garrett just got paid. He ain't worried about nothing. That man got his money. He can say all he wants. Well, I don't want to be here because I want to go to a legitimate contender, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, all he really wants is the money. Because a man that really wants to win would be chiming in, would be taking a leadership role, would be doing a lot of things vocally to try to get his team in the right spot. But the fact that he's quiet and crickets tells me that all he really wanted was to get paid.
Yeah. Hey, fill out your money, go ahead. I mean, it's a lot of money. Some guys just want money. I can't fault him for getting the money. I can't. Hey, that's some life-changing coin right there. But yeah, that'll pretty much be it for that one. Well, Jay, anything else you want to go with here?
Yes, one more. I got a question for you, Logan.
Oh, okay.
Let's put our thinking caps on for a minute.
Oh boy, I'm tapped out of that afternoon, but okay.
Or maybe even just our common sense. Just put our
I can do common sense.
About thinking. Just put our common sense hat on for a minute.
Okay.
And we talked about this a little bit on Coast to Coast, but I want to kind of get your opinion on it too. So that this is Rodgers' last hurrah. He said, I think he's going to hang it up after this season, right?
Yep, correct.
So you really have DK Metcalf. You do have Freiermuth, the tight end. Those are 2 top targets at the current moment. You got a really good wide receiver, I believe, still out on the free agent market. In Amari Cooper. Why not bring in and I think he would be your possession or your slot guy, and you have DK just do your deep routes and things like that. Why not bring in Amari Cooper? Because you could get him on the league minimum. He's an available free agent. Why not bring him in on a league minimum, throw him in the slot, and run that with Metcalf? Because here's the deal. If you're only getting 1 year from Rodgers and that's it, why are you not doing everything you possibly can to try to maximize as much as you possibly can in that 1 year? And the fact that they're not doing it or bringing in any other wide receiver options outside of DK, that kind of is, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm thinking like, damn, I'm going to waste away my 1 year with probably an above 500 record, maybe a wild card. And then that's it. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, Pittsburgh, it's it's a brand new ball club basically compared to last season. They've kind of overhauled pretty much the entire offense, defense. They've had a couple pieces. We know that TJ Watt got his bag, which rightfully so. But I mean, with Rodgers, you got 1 year, maybe two. We don't know, but I mean, I think Cooper could be a nice piece there. I mean, if you look at their depth chart, like you said, you mentioned Freiermuth, you mentioned DK, but I mean, the rest of their team, I mean, some guys you've heard of maybe, but not any viable threats, let's say, right? I mean, so you've got Metcalf. We know that's a good player there. Calvin Austin, he's more of a punt returner, honestly, at this time. Which that's great. Well, keep a good weapon there, but he's not, great. He's a better special teams guy, I think, than a receiver at this point. Which good to have him on team. You got Scotty Miller, Roman Wilson, Rock Taylor, Brandon Johnson, Keyshawn Williams, Max Hurleman, Robert Woods, Lance McCutcheon, Ben Skowronoke. You picked up Jonnu Smith as well, who I know I thought they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets at this point, Jay, just because you have those 2 guys there. And Jonnu's still a solid player. I mean, maybe you got Roman Wilson in 24 in the draft, so I mean he's still a young player. Maybe he could break out, but I mean offensively, I mean you look at their running back room as well. It's Jaylen Warren and Caleb Johnson, Kenny Gainwell. I mean, some guys. I mean, Warren last year, it's kind of. I get he wasn't a main starter or whatever, but they got some holes still. I mean, they're not going to be top of the league in scoring, I don't believe. With all this here, I think they're going to rely heavy on the defense, right? With Cam Hayward. With Watt, with Patrick Queen, Darius Slay. I think they're Jalen Ramsey, who they picked up as well. So I think they're definitely going to be a defense heavy first. If your defense is clicking well, the offense will kind of work as well. But we've also seen in the years past, obviously, Pittsburgh's offense hasn't been, the Super Bowl winning offenses of before with Roethlisberger, Bradshaw years and years ago, Joan Bettis. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they do. If you go out and get Cooper, that'd be a good pickup. I thought he retired, but I that was apparently just a rumor that I don't know if he had spread or someone had leaked, but that wasn't real. So I was kind of confused at first, but no, he's still out there. And look, I get he's not the Cooper from 5+ years ago, but I mean, like I said, bring him to training camp, see how he does. It wouldn't hurt. It'd only help your team, I think.
Oh, I know. I'm 100% behind that.
Yeah, so we'll see if they end up going for anyone else or if they're content with their current roster, and that very well could be the case. But they're still obviously we know we're going to see guys get cut. We're going to see some more guys brought in throughout the preseason and everything. So we will see how it goes. But Jay, if you don't have anything else you want to bring up today, we'll go ahead and just close out the show here and get on with the rest of our Tuesday afternoon. Once again, guys, tomorrow is the start of our new start time here on the show. It's going to be 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an hour after the normal factor, and that's just going to be for the time being. So new start time 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So set your clock back an extra hour. Just wait a little bit longer. Go get some, go work out a little bit extra. Go get some lunch with a friend. You got a little bit more time to kill after work. So just hang out there. And like I said, starting tomorrow 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. New start time for the show here. For Jay McLovin, I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, if you enjoy the show, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, anywhere else, check out our link tree in the description for all of those social media channels. And until tomorrow, at our new start time at 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, don't forget it. We will see you again on the afternoon show here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment